TINUBU certificate matter, it is definitely not going away. Okay, of course, man, everywhere you turn, somebody has an opinion. From media houses to the ordinary man in the street, the social media, it's a gog everywhere. Everybody's talking about it. As a matter of fact, it has become an international matter. Okay, but the bottom line is, for every Nigerian, the issue really is, what is going to be the outcome of this matter at the level of the Supreme Court? What is going to be the final judgment from the Supreme Court? Okay, that has been a major, a thing that, whether you like it or not, it is what everybody's thinking about. Now, I did listen to Reuben Abati, of Arise TV, Dr. Reuben Abati. He made some common sense, gave some common sense legal perspective to this particular matter. I listened to it, I dropped my heart, and I think you should listen to it. I beg. Just listen, watch, share, make everybody hear. You understand? Because our expectation for this Supreme Court matter, just listen to Abati. But don't forget, Nigerian are cruise. And don't forget to share. Yes, Dr. Abati, over to you, sir. We will hear you.
Start with this. I've been making the argument here that emotional morality have no place in law. It is what they teach 100 level law students when they teach introduction to law or they teach legal methods. Your teachers will warn you, don't come and write literature here. The law is what it is. So lawyers don't moralize. They follow the rules, they follow the principles, they follow substantive law. And if you are in court, you follow procedural law. But substantive law is superior in most instances to procedural law. These are basic principles that any elementary student of law will understand. However, there's a principle called open justice. The principle of open justice, in the explanations, in the literature, says that, look, for you to have justice, yes, you can, pay attention within the open forum to personal opinions of people. And that is why you have this justification. Everybody is now, commenting on different aspects of it. Because what is the purpose of the law? The purpose of the law is to modulate society and to, ensure the progress of society under the rule of law, so that you don't have a Hobbesian system. So that participation, that's why people can review cases, review statements from the court of law. However, let's come to the substantive matter. Now, the discovery for use that Waziri Atiku Abubakar and the PDP embarked upon in the United States. Yes, yesterday, the CSU, Chicago State University, has now complied with the ruling of the Courts of Justice, Judge Gilbert and Judge Nancy Maldonado, and has met the deadline. Now, a 32-page document is out there from the school. Now, on request number 2, which is that the original certificate should be provided, the university stated that they have no access to that original certificate. Now, you cannot give what you don't have. If a student graduates, you give him a diploma and he goes away with it. There's no way you can have the original. So that's just simple common sense. Now, the person involved now says, okay, there was a fire incident, he lost his documents and all that. So he asked for a replacement certificate. Most people will tell you, please make sure you don't lose your certificate. It's not very easy to get a replacement copy. When we were leaving that program in Oxford, they told you, please, we don't replace certificates. Keep your certificate very well. The best you can get, if it's an examination program, is to get your transcript. So all those documents that have now been provided, I've seen quite a number of commentaries, front page of This Day Today, drawing attention to certain discrepancies. A piece by Farouk Perogi also drawing attention to certain discrepancies about gender, about qualifications for admission, and all of that. Okay, the question therefore is, are there smoking guns in what the Chicago State University has released? We cannot sit here and declare that there are smoking guns without a proper perusal, examination, of what has been provided. The only caveat to that is that the same Chicago State University said certain discrepancies that have been observed were as a result of clerical error. But there will be a deposition today by a CSU as designee who is going to appear before the court and defend some of these issues, I guess, under interrogation. And, many of these issues will come up and we'll probably have more clarity. The second point is that even if there are smoking guns, of what weight, of what relevance would all of this be before the Supreme Court of Nigeria? Imagining that the team, the Atiku Abubakar team, continues to quote Order 2 of the Supreme Court rules. The question would then be, the second question, beyond the smoking gun issue, would be, can the order of court, which is procedural, can it be superior to what substantive law says, particularly in the Electoral Act, and also, in the Constitution itself, which I tried to explain yesterday about the efflution of time. Number 3 point, beyond these two that I have made, is that, look, I still stand by the point that, look, at the end of the day, all of this may serve no purpose other than the fact that the Atiku camp has been able to go on a voyage of discovery, and has brought up these issues that people are playing up within the public domain, okay, for basic reasons. This whole point about, open justice, the public interest, the interest of the electorate, and all of that, beyond legalism, as Osita Chidoka has argued in another issue. And I go to the point raised by Osita Chidoka. Osita Chidoka raised the point about the value of our institutions. Why is it that to authenticate, to find little details about somebody's qualification, we have to be relying on a foreign jurisdiction to embark on a discovery for use? After all, when you apply for a position, you fill for a form, right? And you even go for security screening. They tell you that the security agencies have looked at your documents. Now, this is a comment on the value of our own institutions. And they've been at it. So they are ineffectual. And I think that point is a moot point. Another point that Osita Chidoka raised is that, look, for future purposes, we will have to resolve all these issues about qualification, about age, and all of that before anybody is sworn in. And that's why I keep saying, I hope some people are taking notes and trying to see what can we learn from all of this. The number 5 point, I think I've reached number 5 point that I would like to make, is that, okay, all of a sudden, I even find all of this very suspicious. Where all of us are running after a certificate, which grade, which this, and all of that. Major issues of the day have been abandoned. The naira to the dollar now is over 1,000 naira. Many parents are already withdrawing their students from schools abroad. There is a strike that Labour promised that has not happened. We've now been told that we should wait while we continue to deal with the crisis that we're talking about. Even the issue about Mohbad, that everybody, including superstars in Nollywood and elsewhere, got involved in. Nobody is talking about Mohbad now. Everybody is looking for TINUBU certificate. TINUBU certificate. It's a comment on the state of our nation. That sometimes we get distracted. We don't focus on the big issues. We don't, concentrate on things that matter altogether. I'm not saying one should be to the exclusion of the other. I'm not saying one should be to the exclusion of the other. But we seem to be dropping our eyes. We seem to be taking our eyes off the ball. These are the issues. Maybe in 2027, when President TINUBU says he wants a second term, if these issues do not go away, in 2027, right? That's the next election, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these issues will again surface. And one way or the other, we will need to reform the electoral process. We will need to take a second look at the electoral framework on some of the lessons that we have so far extrapolated from this. But, all the other issues about what could likely happen at the Apex Court, I've outlined them. And those going about Order 2 of the Supreme Court, no, substantive law will probably override procedural law. Let's start with this. I've been making
This is the Commerce Show. This is